Hump Day. 2 days away from paying respect, honor, tribute to the brave men and women who fight for our country. Veterans. Veterans Day being Friday. 3 days away from Alabama starting the chance of turning the corner, riding the ship after the loss to MSU. It takes on Ole Miss. Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff from Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. CBS has the call on the game. Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin, but right now, you're rocking and rolling. Hottest show on the streets, number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you guys here with us. And we're bringing you the show in the magic city of Birmingham. We're streaming this to you through YouTube. And speaking of the channel, you know what time it is. So hit that subscribe button right now. Get every friend, every family member, every diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Crimson Tide football. Hit that subscribe button, smash subscribe, make this your show, network plays to talk Bama football. Also, don't forget to leave a like on the show. Stop what you're doing, give us a thumbs up, like on the show. Hit that like button. Trying to get this show right now. 50 likes out the gate for this show. Appreciate the support that comes from you, the fans. We also have a daily Super Chat Go. $100 daily Super Chat Go. Jimmy the Badman Clay has already decided to handle the goal himself, dropping the $100 love in the bucket right there. Dancing Steven appreciates that as he's doing this thing there on the desk. So all donations appreciated. All donations welcome. We thank you guys for what you do. Be sure to hit the notification bell to get all your content there on Bama football. But we got a great one tonight, John. Outstanding one. And we want to hear from you, the Alabama football fans. So you can do this by calling 205-448-1358. I want to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Wanted to shoot for a guest tonight, but no guest, just me. But we'll keep this thing rolling as we normally do. So we're going to jump into the first topic here of conversation, John Ivory. And this is, where does Nick Saban and Alabama go to from here, right? 2 losses on the season against Tennessee and LSU. You're 7-2 on the year. So many people have it. The sky is falling in Tuscaloosa. There are so many people discussing, is the run of championships over? Is the dynasty over? The dynasty dead? Has the dominant sort of run its course? Has it ended? So many of these questions, hypotheticals on the end of Saban's run of championships coming out. But at the same time, you still have players that feel like there is still much to play for. And guys like Javion Cohen, Byron Young, DeMarco Hellams, and Roydell Williams spoke to reporters this week, and they all share the same vibe, the same statement. There's still a lot of football to be played. Javion Cohen, it's about execution. Byron Young, we're doing a lot of positive talk. There's still football left. DeMarco Hellams said, hey, there's no pressure in following behind the greats that have laid the foundation. That's why you come to Alabama. That's why we put this script A on. That's why we play in Miss Jersey, because we embrace the pressure of being at Alabama. But not just that, we embrace the standard of wanting to do what the guys before us did. And Roydell Williams, he just kept saying, finish. We got to finish. We got to step up. We got to finish. That was 90% of his conversation during Tuesday's interview. So you have players that are not quitting on each other. You have players that are not quitting on the team. My thing and your thing is, as fans, can this go from talk to action? That's been the main thing. Talk is great, but can this go from talk to action in terms of these players really doing this on the field? Because if this was a team with Jonathan Allen and Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson and A.J. McCarron, and Bo Scarborough and Amari Cooper, if it was those guys on a team and they were talking like this, we would be like, say less. They gonna do it. Because we trusted those guys. And we could trust those guys. Why? Because they delivered on statements. They delivered on promises. They delivered on their word. Your word is your bond. They delivered on their word. So when those guys spoke, they said it. I have no doubt in my mind they gonna do it. We can trust these guys. We can believe these guys because they have a proven track record. In terms of this group of Alabama players, it's, okay, now I got to see it. I mean, you've talked it. Now, can we just see it? It's like the boy cried wolf syndrome. I mean, the boy going to cry wolf like 5 times. Nobody come. And then the wolf finally come, and he cries wolf. And then like, man, forget this, man. He messed with us again. And the wolf eats the boy up. Why? Because when he kept talking about it, the wolf went down. So when the wolf finally came, the people were like, he just tripping again. So the same thing here in terms of Bama football. It's one thing to say that we're going to finish strong. Now, finish the season strong here, because it's only going to get more challenging, especially with this week. It's Alabama and it's Ole Miss. And Lane Kiffin, while he has tremendous respect for Nick Saban, and he does, and he's been saying all the right things about Coach Saban, which he has, and he's probably auditioning for the head coaching position at Alabama upon Nick Saban choosing to retire, and he probably is. Who knows? But while he is the head coach of Mississippi, Lane Kiffin's still trying to become the third former Nick Saban assistant to beat him. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. He's still trying to do that. At the end of the day, he still knows my job here at the Grove here in Oxford, I got to beat Coach Saban. And we all know the offensive mind that Kiffin is in terms of the deep shots and the vertical passing game. But Ole Miss has a run game now. We'll get to that a little bit later on the show. That's the scary part. Ole Miss has a run game, and a big run game. They got a 1,000-yard back on their roster. This guy's getting up and down the field. So a lot of their pass formations, they do a lot of running out of those pass formations. So gap control, gap assignment, discipline football. That's not a word that Alabama players have done rightly this season, but discipline football will be of the essence here for the Crimson Tide. And in the latest college football playoff rankings, Bama at number 9, and ESPN gave the Crimson Tide a 17% chance of making the playoff. I know you guys are asking the question, well, Steven, does Alabama belong in the playoff? Do they deserve to be in the playoff? Honestly, no. If I have to be brutally honest, no, they do not. But with there being a chance in here, there's a whole bunch of scenarios and metrics that you have to jump through hoops to get this to kind of happen. I mean, the shot of Alabama getting to the SEC championship is less complicated than the college football playoff because of the fact that Alabama, you take care of Ole Miss, you take care of Ole Miss, you take care of Auburn, and you hope and pray that Arkansas can take care of LSU first, which we've seen that happen. The Hogs getting a victory over the Tigers. When you look at Jimbo Fisher, a lot of U.S. fans are looking at, well, Jimbo Fisher said all those things about Coach Saban in the offseason, but you would have to look at Jimbo Fisher and go, for once, can you please just do that right? And you would have to hope that he beats LSU, which that would give LSU their third loss in the SEC, which would give Alabama the keys back in the Western Division to go to Atlanta. But, I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. But in terms of the college football playoff, that 17% chance, I don't know about that one. But the important thing is, in order to kind of salvage the season, these guys have got to turn talking to action. Players have got to turn talking to action. Coaches have got to turn talking to action. I mean, we already know in the offseason, Saban's going to have to make some moves. It's point of no return. You're going to have to make some moves. But right now, while you have 3 games remaining in the regular season, talk must become action. But we're going to go to our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we return, I want you guys, the fans, hold nothing back. Call in. We want your thoughts. We want your conversations. We want those phones ringing. We want to hear you right after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, we're back, folks, to the action from the break. Number one ticket here for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio. Remember to hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up. Give a like there on the show. We're at 32 likes right now. Trying to hit that 50 piece on those likes. Appreciate you guys and all that you do. Also, donations welcome. Donations appreciated. We got Brian Watson, who drops in a $1.99 in the Super Chats. Appreciate the love there from one Brian Watson. And Dancing Steven is there as he is back in action. We got to get him some new khaki pants here, John. We'll work on that there for Dancing Steven. But we'll go to the phone lines right now to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. We start with this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, this is Ray in Colorado.
Ray, what's going on, brother?
I'm doing good. I wanted to chime in real quick. I didn't want to take a bunch of your time. I was listening to the Bama Standard and everything, you guys' show yesterday. I think it was yesterday, yeah. Man, we need to maybe not look at stars so much. We just need, some kids that just want to play football, man, and are coachable, like a Minkah Fitzpatrick. Nick Saban would always talk about how easy he was to coach. We need coachable young men. That's it. These guys, with all these stars, they might have the money, or the parents may have had the money to go to all the camps and do all those things, and because, camps are all over the country, and they show up, and they kind of show out a little bit so they get a star, or whatever, paid this subscription. I don't know. Maybe some of them bought stars. I don't know. But the Josh Jacobs, the 3 stars, I'm not saying, and he had a hard life. Unfortunately, God bless him. He was homeless at some point in his life. But I'm not saying these guys got to be homeless. I'm just saying, look how hard he plays. Nothing was bought. Nothing was gifted to him. Stars aren't all that. We've seen 5 stars, the middle linebacker who just never got it together. What's his name? He transferred out. What's his name? Ben
Davis. Oh, Ben Davis.
Ben Davis. Yeah, and we've seen 5 stars like that and all that. Yeah, we don't need that. We just want people who just want to be here and want to win. NIL deals, all this stuff like that, out the window. We might have to just completely reevaluate how we look at these kids coming in now after this season. This is an eye-opener.
It is, Ray, and then, like you mentioned, not just coachable players, but guys that played with a purpose behind them. Josh Jacobs, Levi Wallace, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Brian Robinson, and so many others. They played with a purpose behind them. They wanted to be great. There was something about those guys that they embraced the pressure. They wanted the pressure, and the pressure never really got to those guys. It just felt like when the moment was just that big, it felt natural to Josh Jacobs. It felt natural to Minkah Fitzpatrick. It felt natural to those guys in recent years because they had built so much toward that, whether it was either coming from rough backgrounds or, having the coachability or just they just wanted the game so bad. The game was seen as this is my way to help me and to help my family. So I got to embrace this pressure because if I don't, where else do I turn to?
Exactly. You just said it. Help me, help my family. I want that kid that's like Coach says, hey, I need you to run through a brick wall. He'll run through that brick wall because he know he really needed it. He really wanted. That's how they used to come off the edge, because they really needed it and they really wanted it. These guys look like they got silver spoons in their mouth. And I'm not saying a kid with a silver spoon in his mouth isn't going to play hard. I'm just saying past practice. Look who we've had. These kids wanted it. So, you can talk about, the coaching and all that, but coaches can't make you tackle harder. That's you. You got to want to do that. So, yeah, Bill definitely got to go. If it's one of them got to go, it's got to be Bill. I would like to see both of them gone. Man, I would. Where is? Can we put out a missing person report on Jeremy Pruitt? I don't care how much money it costs. I don't know what he did illegal in the SEC. They may not want him back, but we need that guy back. We need someone that's going to chew somebody's head off. Who was it that said guys were dropping passes and Bryce Young was just smiling at him? Man, we can't have that. We cannot have that. That's terrible, bro. That's like a cancer right there within the organization. You miss the tackles, nobody's getting on you. You just it's just really, really embarrassing.
Ray, I'm going to tell you that. Appreciate Ray from Colorado calling in there. But I remember when receivers would drop passes from A.J. McCarron, John Parker Wilson, even Greg McElroy, and they would get chewed. I mean, even Jacob Coker. And Jacob Coker probably wasn't as vocal as those other guys, but Coker would chew you out too, though. Mac Jones would chew you out too, though, if you would drop a pass from Mac Jones. As funny as his laugh was, Mac was serious, too. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. It's happening. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Big Steve? It's Tobias, man. What's going on?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm ready to see Saban on this field Saturday against Kiffin. And these players show that they still have something to play for here.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I just got off work, jumped on. I agree with the previous caller. Great call, that guy from Colorado. And, listen, we've waffled back and forth all year about, is it the toughness of the player? Is it that they care or not care, stuff like that. I went back and looked at the game because I told you on Saturday after the second possession, I just went to radio. I said, I can't watch this. This is bad football right here. I'll just listen. But, offense lost that game. I know everyone is beating up on defense. I know at the end they didn't make the play that they needed to make, so that's what's sticking out. But I don't know about you, Steve, but that game was in the low 30s,
Wow.
And we have to have an offense that can put up 40 points. And our offense should have been able to put up 40 points on that defense. But if you keep them in the game, it's hard to get back on the field on defense when your offense is not doing what they need to do to actually put points on the board. It's just very difficult to do. It's not an excuse for them at all, our defense. But I wanted to ask you, who did we get from the transfer portal this year?
This season, Bama got Tyler Harrell from the portal. So it got Tyler Harrell from the portal. It got Eli Ricks from the portal. It got Jahmyr Gibbs from the portal. And it got Miles Kitselman, the tight end, from the portal.
Yeah, and I think you said Steen already, right?
Steen, Tyler Steen. The last one, Tyler Steen, right.
So am I off to say that Gibbs was probably the biggest get and everyone else get? I'm glad that Ricks is on the field now. I think I'm glad. But Kirby said something very powerful when they won that game. In his excitement, he said, and we didn't go to the portal to get nobody. I said, go ahead, Kirby. I got you, champ. Because what he's saying is we're gonna build our program. Not that we'll never use the portal but you can't use the portal to replace your development program. And some of these kids, Steve, that we had in the pipeline, and maybe they wasn't no good. It's possible to just have a no good recruiting class and they ain't no good. But I think when you build up and develop kids, to your point about people who want to be here, people who, they live and die at Bama. When you're building through the program, you end up with that kid. You end up with Brian Robertson. You end up with that kid, not just because he was from Tuscaloosa, but also because he stayed in the program and went through the development process. So you end up having a better product. If you start adding too many people in that can't assimilate, can't learn the scheme, can't buy into what it's supposed to be, I think you're going to have some missteps. Because I would say that Gibbs is the only one really producing at that level. We still getting pressure off the end, right?
Right.
Ricks is in his second game, and he did a couple of good things. I watched the game through. He had a decent enough game. But Kinselman, not much, but he's a development player. Maybe he'll show up, next year. We haven't seen the Louisville player on the field. He's been hurt a lot. I understand that. And we forgot about the Georgia transfer. I mean, what good was he?
I mean, to be honest, Tobias, Jermaine Burton could have stayed at Georgia.
He could have stayed at Georgia. He could have stayed at Georgia, man. So I just wanted to put that out there. And so to your point about this week, and I hope that this team turns it around. I'm really excited. If everyone talking about the 12-team playoff, to your point, because you've been beating the drum on the 12-team. Well, Alabama would still be in the playoffs right now, as of right now, with 2 losses. So unless, hopefully they turn around this weekend. But just want to let you know, man, as always, you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. And I agree with you, sir. I think you guys do have a product that can rival and even be better than the Paul Feinbaum show. And that's my show. I DVR that show every day. But you got the goods, man. So keep up the good work. Always go for your dreams. Remember, man, that you got supporters here. And to everyone out there, if I don't hear from anybody or see the show, Veterans Day to all of our veterans, bless y'all, man. Bless y'all for keeping us in a free country. I know elections was today, for us, for us it was. We had the results today. Election was yesterday. But hey, thank you, veterans, for all you do. Thank you, Steve, for all you do.
Appreciate you, boss. They're calling in out of Fresno. Give us that love there on the show. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Steven. How are you, man? I took a couple of weeks off. This is Coach Mabry calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Coach Mabry, what's happening, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Hey, I just was going to call and kind of give my synopsis. I watched the game. I DVR'd it, and I went back and watched it. I've been saying this and harping on it for the last, 6-7 weeks. It just lacks the identity on both sides of the football. The big thing for me is when the culture is built from within. And I think that maybe Alabama has tried to bring people in that maybe don't understand the culture. I mean, there's just some legitimate things that I watch. Look, I watched the game. I talked to my guy after the game. He was literally had tears. He missed the play. He was upset about it. He took it personal. The thing is, it's just, when you build your team, you have to build your team around the people that have the identity of the program. And I just think that this staff has missed that. Specifically defensively, Alabama's known as a tough defensive team. Listen, I'm going to be just real with you. I'm originally a Georgia fan. When I watched Georgia play on Saturday, there is what the identity of that team is. That team might not have any superstars, but they're all working together. They play hard. They play for each other. But that comes from the staff demanding that from them. And what I find with this team is that that's kind of the issue. The issue is that maybe, you look at accolades and you look at names, but you got to look at who the guys are. How are they being developed? Why are the people that are being developed in the program being stepped over by other players? That becomes, that creates what I call a division within the team and creates maybe not the greatest culture. And I think that's the issue right now. But regardless if it's at Bama or not, they should have a tremendous culture. I think on the team, that's what the issue is. The issue is that there are players that probably should be playing and probably should be in that have been homegrown, that have done everything to be developed, but they're being passed over for, I don't know, does the person look better? They're prettier, they're smarter, whatever. When it comes down to it, it's about playing the game. And when I watched Georgia and I watched Alabama this week, listen, what I saw out of it, and I don't know if you agree with me on it, it's just a different culture. The demand on the player, the way the player responds, the physicality of both teams, the fire that they play with, the expectation that they have on themselves. And I just think that what's happened with that is that's really what the issue is with this team. It's not talent, it's identity. And when you put your identity in players that don't have the thought process that is in Alabama, which is the physicality, there's an issue with that. And I really believe, and I don't like to pick on any kids. I mean, I watched Bama Standard yesterday, and it was pretty straightforward and obvious. But a classic is like the guys were saying on the goal line. I went back and watched that play, and I watched the two inside linebackers. One of them smacked the guard in the mouth, which is what voted into the back end. I mean, listen, man, you got to make that play. I don't give a dang who you are. If they projected this guy as a second rounder, first rounder, you got to make that play. That's on the goal line, in the box, one-on-one. You are on that person. Same thing with number 42. When he folded back on that play, he's got to make that play. But he took ownership of it, and I think that's the problem. Is that when the players don't take ownership of it, and then the coaches do not hold them accountability when you continue to do the same thing and get the same results, yet there is no accountability for it. For me, Stephen, that's just kind of what I've gotten out of this year. It's kind of sad because I don't think it's lack of talent. I really don't. I think that the coaches put their faith in some players that just can't get it done, and they don't have what it takes in tough games to win. I've always said this at the beginning of the year. This is not picking on anybody specifically, but some players just get small in big situations. And I've seen it time after time after time after time after time again this year. And it's not just one player, it's many of them. So I just think when it comes down to it, that's what I see from Alabama right now, is that that's their major issue. Their issue is identity, toughness, having what it takes to be at that level. Because when you watch Georgia, I'm going to be very honest, Alabama should be very fortunate they don't play Georgia this year, because Georgia would probably put it on them. But, Steve, I'm just going to get off. I think that's my biggest take from the game, is that this is something that's been percolating, festering all year. It should have been addressed a long time ago. But when you take and you put favorites and you don't hold people accountable to poor performances, guess what? This is exactly what you get. So, man, I'll just sit back and listen to you. Appreciate your show. Again, I want to thank all the veterans. I'm a veteran myself of 4 campaigns overseas. It's a great country. We appreciate what you're doing for us, Steve, and I'll sit back and listen.
Absolutely. Appreciate Coach Mayberry calling in there. And Jimmy Clay, a $25 donation. Appreciate Jimmy Cashman Clay for all he's bringing here to the show. And, John, I've mentioned this before. It's when you look at Georgia, when you look at Alabama, a distinct difference is, as Coach Mayberry mentioned, the culture. Kirby Smart is on fire, wild man, in your face. He demands excellence. He demands greatness. He demands perfection. And he's going to get in every kid's grill and make sure it happens. And it's not just Kirby. You got Will Muschamp, who has his glasses on his nose. He gets in the kid's face. He chews a young man out. He demands that greatness. He demands that perfection. You got Glenn Schumann, who's more of the tactician of Georgia's defense than maybe Will Muschamp is, but Glenn Schumann gets in your face. And then you got Scott Cochran over there too. All of that culture, all of that rah-rah, all of that energy, defensively, players are going to ride for that. That's the culture. Georgia's playing physical, energy, fast, run, 11 playing as one. That's what Georgia has right now. For Alabama, it's just a cast of individual players trying to be a team. Georgia, it's a full team. And they playing like a full team with one heartbeat. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? This is Elijah from Jersey. How you feeling, man?
Doing great, Elijah. How you feeling?
Last couple of days, I just sit back and I was just thinking about calling in Monday, but I said, let me rewatch the game again so I could give an honest opinion on, what this team really is about. And I like what the last caller was saying, Coach Marby, I think that's his name. And from what I got from rewatching the game against Steve, if this team has talent, Steve, it's not on the field. That talent is sitting on the sideline. And it goes back to what Coach was saying. Hey, some players are getting passed over that should be out on that field, Steve. Because I just really looked at it. And, Steve, let me know if I'm looking at this wrong. I want your honest opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong. But wasn't we calling for Bill O'Brien's head last year? We didn't like what we seen from him, correct?
Right.
Call for his head last year, okay? But we ran the same offense last year. I mean, we had same QB. We had different receivers, different running back. But when we talking about talent, I keep hearing everybody say Alabama has talent. We have this talent. First thing to me, talent shows up on the field. Second thing is we had the same offensive coordinator last year, but we had a guy named Jameson Williams. In that same offense, Steve, this man with the weird, the off the rocker play calling, everything going 10 yards deep, 15 yards deep, 20 yards deep. No creativity in that offense really last year from Bill O'Brien. Jameson Williams was still able to put up 1,500 yards, Steve. John Mechie was able, I believe, to put up 1,000 yards, Steve. Okay? To me, that's talent. That is those are talented players. When they got the worst of the worst offensive coordinator, giving them no creativity, these guys' talent took over. Who has talent this year? Everybody on that receiving core, you don't see no breakouts. And like I said, I'm not talking about the gentlemen that sit in the bench not getting the opportunity. I can't talk about them because they're not given the chance, Steve. Who I'm talking about is Burton, Jermaine Burton. Like you said, that dude could have stayed at Georgia. You know what I mean? Trayshawn Holden. Guys like this, they don't have the talent, Steve. That's just what it is. People could sit here and say, oh, we have it. They don't have the talent. That receiving core, that talent must be on the bench. If those guys on the bench don't have the talent, then we're not talented at the receiver position. I'm sorry. What I saw, and I looked at old games, and I seen Jameson Williams with the same offensive coordinator, the same quarterback. These 1,500 yards, Steve, his talent took over. When the lack of play calling was there, this man was still able to turn it around because he's that talented. Mechie was that talented. Now, I'm going to say something that some people might not like. Cameron Latu is not that talented, Steve. What happened? So much of the focus was on Jameson Williams and John Mechie that Latu just got lost in the shuffle. People didn't pay attention to him because defensive coordinators were so focused on Mechie and Williams. So Latu got a chance to shine more one-on-one. This year, people pay a little bit more attention to him because the guys on the outside, Steve, they're not dynamic. You know, those guys, you got to make a change. They don't create separation. You can see Bryce Young sitting back there, Steve, patting the ball, waiting for guys to get open. This last game, he was a little off. But 8 out of the 9 games, when this guy's on the mark, Steve, these guys don't create no separation. Now, I could tell you, on this year's team, you know what talent looks like? Talent is Jahmyr Gibbs. That's a person that, when the play calling is trash, he still shines. He still makes something happen out of nothing. Bryce Young does the same thing. Those are talented players. Not a Jermaine Burton, not a Trayshawn Holden. Those guys are at best a third-team receiver. That's why they don't require double coverage. You've seen in the in the SEC championship game, Steve, last year. You could take Jamison Williams. They couldn't even cover this man, double cover him. And you're talking about the best defensive team in football last year. That's talent, Steve. You know, Jamison Williams, Mechie was talented. With those two guys, if they could have played in the championship game, Alabama would have been the national champions last year. Just them two alone. And with the worst play caller we've probably seen at Alabama in Bill O'Brien. That's talent, Steve. Those two guys was talented enough to win a national championship with the worst offensive coordinator. These guys that we got on this field right now, Steve, they ain't talented. The talent got to be on the bench. And I agree with Coach. Hey, got to stop overlooking some of these guys. Jermaine Burton, he shouldn't be out there. Holden shouldn't be out there. Maybe some of these new guys need to be out there, Steve, because when I rewatch the game, them guys that's out there definitely don't have the talent. Steve, let me know how you feel about what I said, bro.
I mean, Elijah, I'm still looking at where's Christian Leary? Where's Shaz Preston? Where's Kendrick Law? I mean, these are the guys that have the talent. I mean, we're seeing Kobe Prentice, and he's nice. We're seeing Prentice. We're seeing Isaiah Bond, and he can take the top off, and that's nice also. But where are these other guys? Heck, where is Amari Nablack at tight end? He caught a touchdown pass earlier in the season, and Saban was talking about he's one of the guys that Bama's trying to work in there more. Well, where is Niblack? Where he at? He could be the explosive tight end that you need, but we're not seeing much of him either. So it's definitely, you got to get the guys that want football, that desire football, and that they know they can make a play. Because sometimes I'm looking at Burton and Trayshawn Holden. These were the guys that were expected to do something, but they're not making a play. So who is literally going to salvage this season offensively for Alabama and make those plays? You got to look at some of these young guys here, get them off the bench, get them on the field. Kind of like that movie Drumline where the guy kept saying, put my boy Devin on the field. Oh, Nick Cannon, you got to put the young talent out there on the field. Appreciate Elijah there for that phone call. We grabbed this one. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
How's it going, Steve? This is Coach Hood calling out of Tennessee. How's it going, brother?
Doing great, Coach, and yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Can't complain. I just wanted to call you and seek your honest opinion on this. When I watch a football game, I'm 15-year defensive coordinator veteran, so I know football just like previous coaches that have called. And when I'm watching an Alabama football game, or even if I am at a college football game or Alabama football game, I'll tell you what I look for. I like to look at the sideline. I watch the games, but I also love to look at the intangible things, the interaction on the sidelines. I like to watch the interaction amongst the players. I like to watch the interaction amongst the coaches and the coaches and the players. I watch for things like that. What really bothers team, and to be honest with you, this Alabama team from the last couple of years is there's really no true energy and enthusiasm on the sidelines. Like, take, for instance, there's going to be good things happen and bad things happen in the football game. However, the LSU game, the Tennessee game, whatever, okay, whenever something good happens, you really don't see any energy, don't see any enthusiasm. Whenever something bad happens, there's very limited correction that you see. No coaches getting in a player's face. The sense of accountability and passion from the coaches really trying to drive home a point. You don't really see that like you used to see with previous coaching staffs. For example, like your previous caller was talking about, or a couple of callers before talking about Kirby Smart. Man, if any DB whatsoever, or a linebacker, or a defensive lineman missed a tackle, or if the football hit a DB in his hands and he missed it, or the linebacker didn't hit his proper exit angle, or whatever it was, you saw those defensive assistants and Kirby Smart or Jeremy Pruitt literally giving those guys the business, man. You really saw that. They were truly about the culture and really making sure the point is driven home. Like, hey, man, this is Alabama. We don't settle for anything mediocre. We're not just here just to arrive. We're here to make a statement. We're here to impose our will on opponents. We are here to execute the job to the 100% maximum level of ability that we can. And I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I just really that bothers me because it doesn't look like the culture that we are accustomed to, the standard that we're accustomed to. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Steve, appreciate it, man. It's the first-time caller, first time being on with you. Appreciate all that you do and the content and the awareness that you're bringing to Alabama football. It's great stuff, man. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate Coach Hood there. So the energy is not there. The energy has not been there for Alabama football since, 2017? The last year they actually had Scott Cochran in his element before they really started sort of phasing Cochran out of things. And it wasn't just at that time coaches getting in the players' faces like a Jeremy Pruitt or a Kirby Smart, but you would even see Nick Saban get in the players' faces. Nick Saban used to hit A.J. McCarron on his bottom. Nick Saban used to yell at A.J. and get in A.J.'s face, and Nick Saban used to yell at Greg McElroy and get in his face, and Coach Saban used to throw the headset down and break 2 or 3 headsets and yell and scream and cuss and have a tirade. Coach Saban enforced that also. It wasn't just the assistants and the coordinators. Coach Saban did that too. I haven't seen Saban break a headset all year. I haven't seen Coach Saban a player's face chewing them from A to Z all year. I haven't seen that. I've not seen that. I mean, yeah, Saban will go after a ref here and there, but he's not going after the players. I haven't even really seen him in a TV timeout yet going at Pete Golden. I haven't seen that this year. So the energy is not there. And it's sad because we grew so accustomed to players on the sideline hopping up and down, getting crunk, going crazy. Even the music ain't the same no more. I remember going to Brian, they used to play C Murder down for my, they used to go crazy in there. The music used to be something. They used to play certain songs, and the players, whether it was Dalvin Tomlinson, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Tim Will, they'd be up like going crazy. You can't control them cats, man. The energy is not there, and it has to be infused back into the building. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Shirley from Mississippi.
How we doing, man?
You're doing good, Steve. I got a few questions I want to ask you. I'm still hurting from the game we lost Saturday. I still eating me up. I can't understand why Nick Saban won't get in them guys' faces. Like Pete Golden, he should get in them guys' faces. Bill O'Brien, he don't say nothing. When Lane Kiffin was there, man, he stayed in Lane Kiffin's face. I just can't understand that, man. I've been hearing things. I don't know. The dynasty is over. I don't know. It's up to Nick Saban to do what he's gonna do. I just want you to comment on that.
And I mean, Terry, man, I just had that topic right there. You're not even seeing Coach Saban with that passion, with that fire he once had. Because we remember Saban would get in the Kiffin face. He would get in the Kirby Smart face. He would get in the Jeremy Pruitt face. He would get in their face. He would literally let them have it. If something was not going right, if something was not going in the way they need to go for Alabama football, you would get Sabanized. Probably the only assistant coach that did not get Sabanized was Steve Sarkisian, but Sark was just special because he knew what his job was, he knew what to do, and he handled it to the utmost perfection. But more times than not, you would see Saban getting to everybody's face, and he's not doing it. I don't know if he's tired. I don't know what it is, but the energy, even from Saban's standpoint, of the importance of having that fire, I don't even see Saban having that fire right now. But we get this call here. You're live on the show. It's happening. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's up, Steve? It's Jay from Florence.
We got my man Jay up here. Jay, what's going on, man?
They got us, didn't they? They got us.
Jay, this was the one time, Jay. This is the one time, Jay, that I'm like, man.
I commented on the watch party, and I was like, it just feel like Pete and Bill just sabotaged this whole season, man. Like, they didn't, man, you had 4 cupcake games to start the season, man. 4 cupcake games, bro. Like, it just even thinking about this whole season, like, goodness, we were not Alabama. Everybody that love and know Alabama, we all feel the same thing.
I mean, Jay, and I was talking to a friend of mine just yesterday, and they were saying even in Alabama's wins this season, it didn't even feel like Bama truly won the game.
Exactly, like it never felt like Bama. But we need to. So what we go from here, Steve? Like I say, we go young with the new coordinators now, because these guys got to get out of here. I understand keeping Peter around because he's a good recruiter or whatever. Well, put him in an put him in an off-field role and just let him recruit. Just have him in an off-field role. Yeah, let him do something like that, because we was recruiting before you, and we gonna recruit without you. This Bama, it ain't the golden defense, you know what I mean? But man, that one was kind of hard to watch, but it was hard to watch, Steve. But I was also, I hate to say it, guys, but I had to go for LSU a little bit too. Now I've been watching number 22, Armani Goodwin places. He was a young gun, Steve. Man,
he's good.
It
he's good
to watch them boys when you've been knowing them all their life, and they, you know what I'm saying, make a dream happen. Man, we from places where, you know what I'm saying, we from the other side of town. It ain't good. So to see this man on TV, man, that was big, man.
Hey, Jay, he's good. I watched him at Hewitt Trust Field. That boy's special.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but man, I've been harping, been saying the coordinator suck. Man, from the start, man. See, this why I don't like. This what's wrong with this new social media ass word. Excuse me, Steve. With this new social media world, you can't never say what you want to say without somebody being like, "Oh, you a bully." Man, listen, man. First season, Pete, you suck play calling, man. Yo, first season, you suck. I was finna cuss again, Steve. You suck, bro. It ain't nothing else to say, but Pete, you suck, bro. You had only thing you can say, I have my All-American linebacker, Billy Moses. Hold on, man. You still got to coach and play the daggone game, Steve. You still got to coach the game. And guess what, Pete Golden? You ain't never outcoached nobody. Nobody. I'm talking about when we going up against sorry nonchalant schools, man. What? We should be smacking their head on defense. You don't see Pete out there turned up doing nothing like, I don't know, man. That guy, y'all guys, been the media and all of that. You've been giving him all these excuses. This is what we get. when you get a bucket full of excuses, you get crap on you. So I don't understand. Then Bill, when he made the hire, Steve, I called in a couple summers ago and said, why would he say that? People was, oh, don't question the goal. Hold on, man. Listen, man. This one man you ain't gonna question. That's just Jesus. Nick, why in the blank did you hire this man? We need to know. We need answers, bro. Because people got too much invested. Just love in Bama. Just love why you went and got this piece of trash, man. Bill we ain't never seen nothing creative from him, man. Nothing, Steve. Steve, we talk about creativity, and me and you been asking for a simple inside zone run.
I just asked for Bill O'Brien to take the hat off his head. That's all I want. Take the hat off your head, bro.
Man, I love y'all, man. Roll Tide, man. The season ain't over. You know, we still got football, guys. Don't just give up on us. I ain't talking about all that playoff talk. That's what we get. We looking too far ahead. We got to talk game to game. And game to game, man, it feels like we almost got outplayed every game. Even against what them first two was? Utah State them. What? We first drive of the season, we punched, Steve. Do y'all remember that? Damn, Bill, you had a whole off season and the summer, and you couldn't put a drive together against Utah State, bro? That's all I'm saying, man. This man suck. And we talk about talent. Well, if the coach suck, you think he gonna be able to recognize talent, guys? If I suck, I can't see talent. That just don't make sense. Y'all asking too much of him. I mean, the man suck. You think he gonna be able to recognize something that's good? But I love y'all. Roll Tide, man.
Appreciate Jay calling in right there, always keeping us on toes when it comes to the offensive and defensive coordinator for Alabama. I'm just going to say this, John. I will be shocked. Appalled, if both of these two, Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden, are in Tuscaloosa after this season. I'll be absolutely shocked. We're going to take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Pat calling from Atlanta.
Pat, what's happening, man?
What's going on, Steven? So what I want your followers to do, man, is to go on YouTube and check out TCU's offensive coordinator, Gary Riley.
Love it.
Check him out and watch his team. Man, look, I hope this call reaches the right people, but he's something that we, you know, for the offensive coordinator you need to see. He schemes. And on the defensive side of the ball with Golden, he doesn't scheme. His blitz doesn't reach home, in his stunts that he does with his linemen, they don't reach home. He has basic stunts, you know what I'm saying, the tackles that he runs. So, like I said, it's hard for us to watch because this is how we've been used to seeing. It's the difference when you lose, and we've been losing, you play well and you lose, a close game. But when you lose a game and you play horrible, that's games that hurt. You're like, who am I watching? So that's been the thing that's been hurting all of us, man. And this the fans. I know Nick Saban sees it, but I can kind of look at his eyes and tell that I don't know if he's not losing it, but I think it's something out of factors that's on his mind too. You know what I'm saying? When he goes to away games and he has his arm crossed and he got this look like, I'm like, man, this ain't him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can look back to, if you go to YouTube and look up Alabama Dynasty games, he just was pumped up, ready. He wasn't no fearful look. Now he has like a look of almost like intimidated by the crowd, the big crowds. Like, he's intimidated almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the vibe I get. And it just happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful for where we've gone this far as a team. If you're in your 30s and 40s, people are not going to see this many national championships, SEC championships. So I'm just thankful for being this far as a fan of the team. And, hey, we don't win enough, I'm still thankful. But as long as the guys just come to play and play their best, you know, that's the only thing we can ask is just play their best. And I've been saying, I called in last year and told you that Bill O'Brien doesn't play his best players, because that was the case that John Hall would have been on the field then, even though he had his issues. But these players know that they are better than who's in front of them. That's a big thing, too. When these guys know they're in practice and you got transfer to transfer out. They be knowing that better. Come up with schemes to understand. I mean, they're athletes. They're not scientists, rocket scientists. You should have schemes and playbook set up for the kids to succeed. College, yeah, but it's X's and O's, man. It's X's and O's. And these kids are the one to go to the next level and to win national championships when they come to Alabama. That's what they want to do. They want to win national championship and go to the league if they have the talent enough. And they know if they do or not. They know, and so that's what you're seeing right now, man. Like what we watching right now was just pathetic. Like, and then the last thing, and I'm gonna end on this, is that coach needs to see if these coordinators needs to be fired soon, because recruits are seeing this offensive defense ran like this. And if I was a dad and my son watched that with my son, it was a 5-star, I'd be like, man, I don't know, man. Maybe you know what I'm saying?
I mean, Pat, and talking with my guy Justin Smith, who covers recruiting for TDA, that's kind of a thing right now when you look at Justice Haynes and Caleb Downs. 2 5-stars for this 2023 class. Justice Haynes is a Georgia legacy, and Caleb Downs is the best defensive back in this class. Georgia's going after both of these two hard. Now, of course, both of these two have said, we want Bama, we commit to Bama. But going back to what you mentioned, when you're a recruit and you're at these games with your parents and you're watching how Alabama playing and it don't look like Bama, but then you watch Georgia and you say, man, I like how they playing. Things can flip quickly.
Flip quickly. So this should have been done ASAP after that game on the bus. He should have called his own flying home. And listen, I say this to my wife sometimes, like, I'll spend my savings on getting O'Brien to wherever his next destination will be. I will help out if I have to send whatever what you need. The U-Haul, I will help. I promise you I will. I will help give a hand to empty out your house. Whatever you need to do. I want break lessons. That wherever your next destination is, please can I hand deliver you there? That's all I ask.
Appreciate Pat there.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, man. No problem, man.
Appreciate my man Pat calling out of Atlanta there. So, John, before I get to my thought here, we'll take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on? Charles calling from Demopolis.
Charles is back. Charles, what's happening?
Nothing.
What's going on, Charles? We miss you, man.
Yeah, sorry, been a long time. Is Nick Saban gonna get fired?
No, Nick Saban's not gonna get fired or tired, whichever one. I think you said tired. I think you said fired there. Nick Saban's not gonna get fired now.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate Charles calling in there from Demopolis with his concern there on Coach Saban. Nick Saban's not gonna get fired, but I had a conversation, John. I had two thoughts here. My first thought was a lot of people are talking about, okay, well, the Bama fan base, the Bama nation is spoiled. You got 6 national championships. You got 8 SEC titles. You got all of these All-Americans, all of these first-round picks. Why should you be upset? I mean, you got everything there. Why are you bothered by Nick Saban having a tough time this season? It's not that the fan base is spoiled. It's not that. It's when somebody tells you something and they tell you something in confidence, you hold on to their word and you expect them to be at their word. It's just like if I was a car salesman and I told you that this Mercedes-Benz G5 is the greatest thing ever, and I've test-driven it, I put my word on it, I put my stamp on it, nothing is going to be better for you than this Mercedes G5, you're going to hold me to my word as a car salesman. And the moment that G5 breaks down, you're going to be like, that big dummy sold me the wrong car. And I'm going to get pitchforks and torches at my door. So it's the same thing here with Coach Saban. In 2007, when Saban stepped off the plane and his eyes looked into the souls of hundreds of thousands of Alabama fans in incredible desperation for a winner. They want a winner that badly. And Coach Saban looked in that crowd. He's about 56 years old at this time, brown hair. And Saban looks at the crowd and he goes, we are going to give you a product that you, the Alabama fan, can be proud of. To this day, Bama fans have hung on to that one sentence. We're going to have a product that we can be proud of. And even though the product may lose games on the field, as long as it's a toughness, competitiveness, physical, relentless, commitment, passion, big-time product, fans are okay with that. But this product right here from Nick Saban, this product right here that was on the field against Tennessee, against LSU, and for this season, fans are not happy with the product. And they have every right to not be happy with the product. Nick Saban ain't happy with the product. He keeps saying every week that they got to improve something. So if Saban ain't happy with the product, and you, the fans, are not happy with the product, then something about the product got to change. It ain't about the fans being spoiled. The fans have expectations. And those expectations were set by what Coach Saban said all those years ago. If he's the one setting the expectation and the boosters are putting the money behind the expectation, then that expectation's got to be met there. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from. You're live on the show, call.
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Well, I just seen it like this, the writing on the wall, you asked me. If you look at Bill O'Brien's resume, it ain't that good. The man don't want to run the ball. He just want to pass. And it's a vanilla offense. And I tell everybody this, and I seen it last year. Every defensive coordinator got a job from Pete Golding. Ain't nobody offering that man a job. It's time to get rid of that staff. Ride this season out, but we got to upgrade that staff. And you look over the college landscape. Mel Tucker was on that staff. That's Michigan State coach. Billy Napier, Florida coach. I mean, even Jim McElwain, he got a job at Colorado State offensive coordinator. Ain't nobody offering these guys no job. And we got to start depending on transfer.
Absolutely. Bama's got to develop guys. And I remember when here's my second thought here, John. Appreciate that call right there coming in. But I remember this right here, John, second thought. Coach Saban, when he first got here, he got his main guys from the state of Alabama, whether it was Montgomery, Birmingham, Mobile, Tuscaloosa, Huntsville. The main guys came from Alabama. Now, if he was looking for a specific talent, then he would maybe dip into Florida, dip into Georgia, dip into Texas, dip into other states in the South, to Southeast for a specific talent. But the heart of those recruiting classes was right here in the state of Alabama. And that's what Saban's got to get back to. Now, I can understand you pursuing the transfer portal if you're looking for a specific talent. But the transfer portal should not dominate your development of the players that you're recruiting in here as freshmen. Shouldn't do that. If you know that I've got a Christian Leary that's capable, if I got a Shaz Preston, a Kobe Prentice, an Isaiah Bond, if I got these guys who are more than capable, then there's no reason to go out there and get a Jermaine Burton. There's no reason to go out there and get a Tyler Harrell if you have guys that you recruited as freshmen coming in here more than capable to get the job done. Throw Aaron Anderson in there as well, though he had dealt with a little injury there the offseason, he is good to go now. But I mean, those are just my thoughts on the whole situation. We're going to take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Trent from Prattville. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, Trent, and yourself?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm out of loss of words after this loss, man. It's just heartbreaking. It's good to win. I mean, I got a few points to go over with, but, I mean, it's just extremely tough. Extremely tough. My heart's broken.
Go ahead then, Trent. Go ahead.
I was listening to another podcast, and a good point the guy made that, you know, we don't have the guys on offense like a Devontae Smith and a John Mechie and a Jameson Williams and a Jerry Jeudy or a Derrick Henry, those type of guys that they're going to score on you when the game's on the line in clutch time. And we don't have the guys on that are going to stop you that have that clutch gene. That's not taught. That's born. They're born with that. And guys like Rolando McClain and Reuben Foster and Rashawn Evans, those types of guys. Well, right now we don't have those types of guys that have that clutch gene. When the game's on the line, they're there. We're going to make the plays on defense. We're going to stop them on offense. We're going to score. We just don't have those guys right now.
And part of that is, Trent, is you got to wonder Alabama's evaluation process in recruiting. How much has that changed drastically? Because the guys that you mentioned, the McClains, the Reuben Fosters, the Rashawn Evans, all three of those guys came from the state of Alabama. And I don't understand why in this recruiting, why Bama is not hitting on guys in this state that have those same qualities to be that enforcer on the field, especially on defense. Bama has missed on guys in this state that are enforcers, and you hope and you pray that they're able to get a Quay Russaw and a James Smith, the two young men out of Carver High School in Montgomery, because those two guys are what you need desperately on your defensive front. I don't know what's gotten into the recruiting evaluation now, but appreciate Trent there, my man from Prattville, for that call there. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Stephen M., how you doing? It's Brian from Richmond. Called in a couple weeks ago right after the Tennessee game, and my stomach was still in the pit from that game. After the LSU game, I can't even begin to explain how I'm feeling now, but I'm sure I'm like everybody else in Bama Nation, just a little pissed off and certainly disappointed.
I mean, Brian, you have yourself right there in the mixture of all of the Bama Nation right now. I mean, Bama 7-2. ESPN's giving them a 17% chance to make the playoff. If you're on top of that, you're out of the SEC championship picture unless you beat Ole Miss, you beat Auburn, and then you're hoping and praying for Arkansas to beat LSU, and then Texas A&M to beat LSU.
Yeah, the thing, last time I called in, you probably hit it on the nose more than I did. I went off on the assistant coaches, and they certainly still deserve it. The thing that really was disheartening for me to watch in this last game, and let's face it, all the games this season, is how disconnected Bill O'Brien is. Forget his play calling, forget his one-dimensionality in terms of how he calls a game, but sitting up in the booth and not being down with the team to get the pulse of the players on the sideline, to be able to compensate if he can, to be able to kind of read the room. You're not getting that with your hat turned around, sitting up in the booth. So at this point in the season, with Bill and with Pete and with us seeing what they're able to do, they've already hit their glass ceiling. And to Saban's kind of point in the press conference of there's going to be changes, and to your point earlier, where talk is cheap, they ought to be on the train at this point. And certainly if they're at the game, if Bill O'Brien's in the booth, somebody ought to go up there and toss him out of it. Because if he ain't down on the sideline, he's just basically telling you that I want to be out of here. I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want the heat. I don't want the pressure. I don't want to see what's going down on the field. I'm just going to sit up here nice and cozy and call a terrible game.
And the crazy thing about this, Brian, is people make the statement of, well, Jim McElwain was in the booth and Doug Nussmeier was in the booth and Michael Locksley was in the booth. There's a difference there. Jim McElwain, though, in the booth, at least McElwain was creative, and at least McElwain had a connection with the players. McElwain could read the room. McElwain could read the players. And at least McElwain was able to, if someone working, put Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson in a Wildcat, and we'll win it that way. I mean, at least he did that. Doug Nussmeier, at least he did something while he was in the booth. If something wasn't working right, he would come up with something that would work and had a connection there. The very same thing with Mike Locksley. If something wasn't working, Locksley would drop an RPO. He would drop another option type of look. He had a connection with those players. Those three may have been in the booth, but they were creative and they knew those players and they connected with the room. Bill O'Brien, not only can he not call the plays, he's oblivious to the whole room.
100%. The part that you called me out on last time was there's the onus on the players as well. This is not just the coaches. This is not just Bill and Pete. This is what the players are bringing to the room as well. And this didn't dawn on me until I listened to the Standard the other night. And when you listen to Bo, Marvin, everybody else, I kind of alluded to it last time in the swagger. When those guys talked, when you listen, both want to go run through a wall. There's a swagger and an energy and a cockiness and just a bravado that we just don't have on the sidelines. You see it. Everybody's kind of neutral. There's nobody hoping and hollering. There's nobody getting on everybody. You see maybe onesie, twosie, but it's not, the energy is just not there. So although I still blame the Petes and the Bills for that and not incubating that throughout the year and not being engaged with the players, it is the players. You're 100% right. That energy isn't there. There's a lot of talk, and then there's a lot of no follow-through in a game. If Ole Miss and the Iron Bowl are the remaining games that we have this season, knowing that we're not going to the SEC championship, we're not going to the playoffs, bench them all. Jermaine Burton's been a huge disappointment. Trayshawn Holden, this DB assassin thing, we've been assassinated by those guys. Get the Christian Learys, get everybody else in there, and let them basically step up and show the folks that haven't been able to produce how it's done. At least put them in a position where we're starting to grow those players early. Because quite frankly, it's the same old thing. And if Pete and Bill are there, it's going to be the same old thing. And if our wideouts are there doing their thing, that's going to be completely non-eventful. And you hit on it before as well, and I'll leave you at this. Tulane, he's coming in to make a statement at a point. He may be a Nick Saban fan to the airways and snapping back in the Paul Feinbaums of the world, but he would love nothing more than to show his previous boss that let him go that he's the better coach, that he can start a better team, that he can run a better offense, and that he can beat Bama. Stephen M., I love the show. Love all you guys do. Appreciate it. All the best. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Brian from Richmond calling in. Appreciate all you guys calling in and letting your voices be made heard, be made known right here on the show. So, John, we're going to go to an awesome call topic. One of the bright spots to Alabama season, Will Reichert, place kicker. Got his groove back. Reichert is now the all-time points leader in Alabama history. 388 points. Will Reichert has passed Lee Tiffin and all the kickers in front of him. So Reichert stands alone. All time in the history of Alabama 4 career points with 388. Everybody that's on the call line, continue to hold through for the next 10 minutes or call back in the next 10 minutes. When we get back, we will break down, previewing, setting the stage. Bama, Ole Miss, Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin. We'll get to it after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back and rocking and rolling to the action from the break on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, we're already at 100 likes right now. Appreciate you guys for continue hitting that like button, hitting that thumbs up, giving a like on the show. We're going to shoot this now for 150. We're going after 150 likes right here. Appreciate all donations. They're welcomed. Thank you guys for making this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Crimson Tide football. But, John, we now look at here, setting up this matchup, Alabama, Ole Miss, Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin, Saturday from Oxford, Mississippi, Vaught Hemingway Stadium. CBS will have the call there, 2:30 p.m. Central Time. But there's a difference with Lane Kiffin this year as opposed to years in recent memory. And that's because not only does Kiffin have a vertical attack game in the passing, that he doesn't have just a vertical deep shot passing game. Ole Miss can run the ball. They can run the football. And a lot of their pass formation setups end up being running plays. So gap discipline, gap assignment, gap integrity, stopping the run, not allowing cutbacks on you. That disciplined football is going to be huge for Alabama this week, because Ole Miss has an identity. Yes, they've got Jackson Dart at quarterback, who's having a pretty solid year, but now Ole Miss has got a 1,000-yard running back and another running back that's got 7 rushing touchdowns on the year. They're balanced. They can run the football. The running back, Quinshon Judkins, which is interesting. Judkins came from Pike Road High School here in Alabama. He played with Curtis Perry, of whom our own Justin Smith scouted out heavily. Coach Saban mentioned in today's SEC Coaches teleconference, or he mentioned it tonight in the press conference, one of the two, he stated how, Alabama was looking at getting Judkins in the 2022 class, but decided not to get him. In hindsight, Saban said he would have been really good for the football team. Now, of course, Alabama fans, you guys are happy with Jahmyr Gibbs, Jace McClellan, Roydell Williams and company. Jamarian Miller in there also, Trey Sanders. But Quinshon Judkins, guy's good. 1,000-yard back, 13 rushing touchdowns. He's averaging 20 carries a game, 114 rush yards per game. Guy's good. Here's the crazy thing. Even though Kiffin is known for his deep shot passing game, Ole Miss leads the SEC and is third in the nation in rushing, averaging 265 rush yards per game. They have an identity. They're physical. They're tough. they're going to want to run the football. So Bama's got to be own it. Own it. And when you look at this matchup between Pete Golding and Lane Kiffin, the last time these two faced each other in Oxford, Lane Kiffin dropped 48 points on Pete Golding, even though Steve Sarkisian bailed Pete Golding out that year with Sarkisian helping Alabama's offense put up 63. And then you look at, last year, Kiffin got, cute there with the play calling and saying, get your popcorn ready and all of that, and was held to just 21 points. But we all know when Ole Miss is at home and it takes on Alabama at home, and you add the factor of the Grove and how crazy that environment is, and with Lane Kiffin's offensive acumen, this is a game that you got to be ready for. You can't come in sleepwalking. You can't come in, not expecting to get Kiffin's best shot, because he's going to throw everything at you. He's going to throw everything at Pete Golding. And if for Alabama that's trying to salvage this season, get the 10-2, have a good bowl game, and then hit the reset button, it starts with this defense getting after Ole Miss. It starts with this defense getting after Judkins and Jackson Dart and all the weapons there that the Rebels have on that offensive side of the football. And for Alabama's offense, it's which offense shows up, right? I mean, we know the Bill O'Brien that's going to show up is going to be the one that's been showing up all year. But aside from that, which receivers show up, right? Which offensive line shows up? I mean, seriously, for Bryce Young, will he have anybody aside from Jahmyr Gibbs that he can trust to catch the ball? I mean, will this be the game where Coach Saban just goes, you know what? We're starting more of the freshmen. Bond, get out there. Prentice, get out there. Shaz Preston, get out there. Aaron Anderson, you're healthy. You get out there. We'll throw Christian Leary in there and Ja'Cory Brooks in there, and just let it be those guys. Everybody else can have a seat. Just let it be those. Is this the game where Saban pulls it? Because this is the same Saban that, fired Lane Kiffin before the national championship game. It's the same Saban that yanked Jalen Hurts 26-2 from the second half of a national championship game against Georgia and put Tua out there to start that second half of the game. This is Nick Saban that, he put in the likes of Cooper Bateman to start the 2015 game against Ole Miss, yanked him, and put Jacob Coker in there. I mean, this is Nick Saban that has done this before. When something ain't right, he ain't afraid to pull the card and try something different. Is this the game against Ole Miss where we finally see old Saban resurface? Eminem with a real Slim Shady, please stand up. Is this a moment we finally see old Saban come out there and pull a different card? Put all the freshmen in there. Put all the young guys in there and say, look, we will live with the mistakes. We'll live with the learning curve. We ain't making the playoff anyway. We ain't making the SEC championship game anyway, so what do we got to lose? Put the young guys out there and let's have them adjust here to the learning curve. But what offense, which offense will take the field here against Ole Miss? That'll be something to watch. And then for Alabama's defense, Pete Golding and the rest here of this gang. Is there a way that Bama's defense can salvage this? I mean, started off well against LSU, couldn't hold on because offense couldn't score and the defense got tired and that whole thing. But can the defense salvage this? Can it go out there against a Rebel team and be able to have a pulse of dominant play out there on the field? I mean, here's my one question, John. Can we get Sal Sunseri out of an off-field role and get him back to coaching the outside linebackers? Because, I mean, last year when you had Coach Sal coaching the outside linebackers, Will Anderson, 34.5 tackles for loss, 17.5 sacks. Dallas Turner, 10 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks. That was with Sal Sunseri. with Coleman Hutzler, good coach, great energy, but the numbers have dropped. I mean, Coach Sal is one of them OG. He was one of the guys built the program standard for Alabama football. And Sal's in an off-field role. Is there a way we can get Sunseri back on the field? I mean, in a coaching these outside backers. That's all I got to say right there. But we'll see how this pans out here against Ole Miss. Kiffin's got the identity here in the run game. Bama's got to salvage this thing, righting this ship. Players have been talking about, still a lot to play for. We're going to see if that response is true or is that response just simply fool's gold. We'll go to a break right now. When we get back, we'll get more of your calls, more of your thoughts, more of your conversations. Hit us up after this.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We're back to the action here, baby, on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show on the streets here, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio. We're at 122 likes, still trying to get that 150. Hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, like the show. Appreciate the support. They're coming from all of you. All donations welcome, all donations appreciated on your end. We thank you for making this your show, your network, your space, your channel to talk about the Crimson Tide. Right now, we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, this is Jimmy Clay from Elba, Alabama. How you doing, buddy?
The man himself, Jimmy!
I tell you what, I believe in Saban. Everything's going to be just fine, man.
I think
Seven
Jimmy,
times national champions. Yeah, go ahead.
I think Jimmy, and I said this before, I think just going back to what Saban said Monday, he knows what he's supposed to do. He knows exactly what he has to do. There's no doubt in my mind that he does not know. He does. It's just now for him, getting this done, and then looking at my list of coaches and seeing who do I need to make the first call to get this thing right.
Right. Well, what about on defense? I say D'Amico Ryan. What do you think?
Jimmy, I'm going to say this right now. That would be one of my first calls. I know people are saying, but he's looking at an NFL job. He's trying to be an NFL head coach. And for D'Amico Ryans, that would be fantastic. But if you're Alabama, if you're Coach Saban, that's one of the first calls. He played at Alabama. He know the culture. He immersed in the culture. Former academic All-American, will light your butt up, can identify with the players. That would be the first call I would make.
Okay, what about offense?
Offensively, The first call I would make would be to Garrett Riley of TCU. I would call him. Garrett Riley of TCU, I would call him, make an offer to him.
I've never heard of him. Give me a little information about him.
So Garrett Riley, he's Lincoln Riley's younger brother, and Garrett is an offense. Yeah, Garrett Riley, offensive mastermind. He has taken TCU. Their offense has exploded this season. It's been trending up the last couple of years, but this year it's really exploded. The Horned Frogs undefeated, and much of that is due to the innovation that Riley's doing down there. But he's Lincoln Riley's younger brother.
Oh, wow. That tells me a lot. Well, hey, he's done it. Saban's done it before. He's going to do it again, man. He's going to do it again. I'll let you go, man. Roll Tide. Take care of yourself.
Absolutely. The man, the myth, the legend, Jimmy the Cash Man Clay, calling in here to the show on a Wednesday. Those are honestly my thoughts there, people. If I'm Coach Saban, I'm making a call to D'Amico Ryans. I'm making that call. He may choose to still take the NFL head coaching job, and if he does, hey, more blessings to him because he's been fantastic. He's doing his business. But if I'm Alabama, Miko, his phone gonna get wrong. That call gonna have to get made. And offensively, the creativity and innovation of Garrett Riley, I'd make that call too. But once again, this is just Stephen Smith on a set, talking Bama football with you. I'm not Coach Saban. Would I like to have that $11.7 million though? Woo-hoo. Oh yeah. Be somewhere on a boat in Cancun, chilling. $11.7 million. But hey, it is what it is there. But here we go. We're gonna go to our quick call topic here, folks, and this one goes to DeMarco Hellams, Alabama senior safety, and he was one of the first guys in this conversation of Bama football still a lot to play for. Bama football not quitting on nobody. Players aren't quitting on anybody. He's not quitting on any players. There's still pride within this Alabama football organization. DeMarco Hellams was one of the first few guys to talk about it. He mentioned, hey, we embrace the pressure of, having to try to live up to what the guys before us did. Wearing that A on your chest. That's why you come to Alabama. You come to wear that A on your chest, play to that A on your chest, and play to the standard of Alabama football. So that's what Hellams said there. And once again, it's great to hear him say it. But against Ole Miss, Bama Nation just wants to know, can they get some action? They can get some action. Hey, that's all it needs right there. The talking that's happened all season long. Coach Saban down. Where are the results? Like that commercial, where's the cream filling? That's the stuff. Hostess. Where are the results? We hear all the talk. Where are the results? Hopefully we can start seeing those Saturday. We take our final break here, folks. Don't touch that down. When we get back, we look into if there are coaches that Nick Saban could bring in here during the offseason. Who would those coaches be? We'll tidy up loose ends with that after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back into the action from the break on a Wednesday. Hottest show on the streets here talking Crimson Tide football news. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio. We're at 136 likes here. Still trying to get this to 150 before the show ends. Continue hitting that like button. Drop a like on the show. Smash the like button. Make this your channel, your network, your space to talk Crimson Tide football. Also, don't forget about TDAwear.com. It's TDAwear.com. I know Alabama's got 2 losses, but you can still get your gear. You can still have your swagger, sauce, drip, clothing, cultural, fashion niche. You can still get that. TDAwear.com. Link in the description. Rocking all of your Bama gear and the brand that gives you the information on that Bama team. So, TDAwear.com. Continue showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama magazine. But here we go, John. So, Coach Saban mentioned, hey, change is coming. Change is being made. Stuff got to happen. You know, all of the good talk. Coach speak right there. Hopefully the coach speak becomes actual action. Well, real action here, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, though, in the event that Alabama does make the move in the offseason to part ways from Bill O'Brien and Pete Golding, who would be the names on Nick Saban's short list of coaches that he would make, phone calls to and ultimately try to bring into the program? We'll start with defense first here. So defensively, there are 2 names. There could be more. And there's a third one out there also, but I'm not comfortable with giving the third one until we get some more concrete information on this third one. The 2 names defensively right here that I see, and that the rumors and speculation and the hope would be D'Amico Ryans and Jeremy Pruitt. D'Amico Ryans, for obvious reasons, played at Alabama as an inside linebacker. A guy that very decorative linebacker at Alabama. Former academic All-American. Former All-American. A guy that was just a leader, a man amongst boys out there. And he's risen up the ranks in the NFL. Done a tremendous job as the coordinator defense for the San Francisco 49ers. Many people are saying he wants to be a head coach in the league, and I can see that. But if I'm Coach Saban, that's the first call I make is to D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico, come home. And if you're Alabama, hey, offer him defensive coordinator, inside linebackers coach, coach in waiting when Saban retires. I mean, offer that to D'Amico. Roll the carpet out for him. That'd be my first guy defensively, D'Amico Ryans. Second guy, people keep talking about it, Jeremy Pruitt. Now, I understand he was fired from Tennessee. Some say fired with cause from Tennessee. The NCAA has not gone to really dig in the situation that happened where the Volunteers are concerned. But with how the officiating has gone this year in the SEC, just how poorly the officiating has been in this conference, I mean, would it be wrong of Coach Saban to call the SEC front office and be like, hey, the officiating is terrible. We're going to go get Jeremy Pruitt. We don't care what you say. I mean, would it be wrong of Coach Saban to pull that? I mean, I think that'd be pretty gangsta of Coach Saban to do that, though. I mean, just to call the SEC front office and be like, look, Commissioner Sykin, look, peep this out, Pimp Juice. Look, this official has been god-awful, all right? We going to go, all right? We going to get Jeremy Pruitt, and we don't care what you say, all right? We going to make this happen, all right? If I'm Nick Saban, hey, that'd be something I have to do. Call the SEC's front office. Say, hey, you can't check your officiating. Don't check us as we make this move to get Jeremy Pruitt back in the SEC to Alabama. People have been asking for, can Bama have Pruitt back? But that would just be 2 guys defensively, D'Amico Ryans and Jeremy Pruitt. Now, more names may come. As more names start to file in, we'll give you the information there of those names. But those should be my 2 potential. as of right now. When you look at the offense, Bill O'Brien, placing him, list is a little bit longer here. I brought up Garrett Riley, Lincoln Riley's brother over there at TCU. I make a phone call there. I make a phone call to Matt Rule, recently fired from Carolina. I've said this before. Some people are just born head coaches. They come out of the womb with a whistle, a headset, a play sheet, and just a demeanor to lead men. They're born head coaches. And then you have guys that are born coordinators. They can't micromanage a whole thing, but if you give them their own cubicle, their own office, and have them run their own section, they're good. They can coordinate, and they're very good at coordinating. And then you have guys that are just position coaches. So Matt Rule may not be the best head coach, but offensive coordinator, he did do some big stuff with that Baylor offense. Be number 2. Number 3, Dan Mullen. And I know, Bama Nation, you're going, Steven, that guy, really? Hear this out here. Dan Mullen, once again, probably not head coach material, but offensive coordinator material. He is pretty creative. Dan Mullen is pretty creative. He is pretty outside the box. He can do some stuff. You know, when you can take an unorthodox throw in motion like Tim Tebow's, win Heisman Trophy with that, two national championships with that, Dan Mullen's pretty creative. The stuff that he was able to do with Percy Harvin, those guys, Chris Rainey, Jeff Demps, down there in Florida, pretty awesome right there. So you look at Dan Mullen. Next guy here, Frank Wright. I know, fired from Indianapolis, but what he did with the Philadelphia Eagles with Carson Wentz pre-injury, when he was looking like an NFL MVP candidate, and then what he did with the offense when Carson got hurt and had Nick Foles running the Philly in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, beating the Patriots. Hey, Frank Wright, offensive coordinator. Could be a call right there. Last but not least here, and we put an asterisk by this guy because he signed an 8-year extension at Liberty. But we have seen coaches sign extensions to stay with the program and leave with the very next puff of air. Case in point. Remember Dave Aranda and Joe Brady at LSU? Yeah. They signed an extension to stay at LSU with Ed Ogeron. The very next second, when those two coaches realized the NCAA mess was about to hit the fan, Dave Aranda goes, bump that extension. Baylor? I'll take that head coaching job, Baylor. And then, of course, Joe Brady. NFL won't be back? Shoo! Left the extension signed and on the table and left elsewhere. So, not saying Hugh Freeze is going to do that to Liberty, but, I mean, could happen. If you bring Hugh Freeze to Tuscaloosa, you know, that'll put you right there in that Kiffin, Sarkisian, fun, creative offense that works. Get the best players on the field and utilize them type of mode there. So those just be my potential offensive and defensive guys that Coach Saban in Alabama could give a phone call to upon the end of this season. If it chooses to part ways from Pete Golding and Bill O'Brien. But, as always, Bama Nation, you want the best in news, notes, coverage, material, entertainment on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from your iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. Got you covered right there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. You're trying to get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine. Here's what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link in the description. Folks, as always, we gotta shout out you, the Alabama football fan base, for all the calls, all the donations, all the likes, all the conversations, all the super chats. You making this show what it is. Your network, platform, channel, space to talk Bama football. Also, gotta shout out my man John Ivory in the production studio, handling things behind the scenes as he does for us right here. Until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. Be sure to get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and this has been In My Own Words.